We're back at Groudle Glen for another interview about what's going on here. With me is Pete, we know from the mines and all that, and Chris, you live around here, so we can call you a concerned resident, and also you know your history about this place. In fact, should we start with that? I mean, what is this all about? Why did it come here?
Because it's not just any wheel.
Right.
We're in Groudle Glen. Groudle Glen was a major part of the Victorian infrastructure, the start of the holiday trade on the Isle of Man, and it was developed by a chap called Broadbent. And he built the Groudle Hotel at the top of the glen. He planted the whole of this glen, and he built the wheelhouse you can see behind us and the wheel, initially for the purpose of pumping water up to the Groudle Hotel. Uh-huh. We're not very sure where the wheel came from, but it wasn't the first use of the wheel. The wheel was brought here in 1893 and put in position, and it's been here ever since.
The actual place has a few makeovers over in their time, haven't they?
Pete will probably tell you something about that.
Well, I should think so. It's certainly not the original structure that's here. As Chris has mentioned, there is some uncertainty as to where the wheel itself came from, but I should imagine that date of 1893, it's more than likely it came from one of the mines as they were in the decline, and perhaps that of Foxdale. You always do have great ideas. I mean, that's one thing for you. You won't just see this working again. I reckon you'd have a use for it, right? I think it's most justifiable, yes, given the locality of it. I would like to see it working again, and it does have the potential to generate a small amount of power, which could be utilised, localised in the area. We have the bandstand a short way down the glen.
Well, that's also in bad condition, isn't it?
I don't think the bandstand's in too bad a condition.
Sealed off.
Yeah. But the entirety of the area needs some attention. But yes, we could.
You could do something.
We could do something with this.
Okay, concerned residents. I mean, what do you want doing? I mean, is this an Oncombe Commissioner's situation or what?
It's a national glen. That's the first point, and it's one of the finest national glens. It's got some beautiful planting. It needs looking after. It's not really been looked after properly. The paths are in a bit of a mess. Fallen trees left where they fall, and it's not well looked after. It's very well used, it's very popular with dog walkers, and it's very popular with visitors to the island, and it's used an awful lot in the publicity to attract people to the island. You'll see pictures of that wheel being used time and time again as an attraction to the island.
Like a Groudle Glen railway situation, is that what you're looking at here, to do it with volunteers and yourself no doubt involved?
I think so. The entire thing would be part and parcel, really. It's a very unique building, it's a very unique location. We were asked to undertake a study for Oncombe Village Commissioners about 4 years ago, and we set to work on this, provided a report. Since that time there has been further degradation of the building, and either by design or by default the building is going to come down at some point.
I was going to say, if it doesn't look, it's gone off true, right?
Very, very slightly. When we examined it, our primary concern was the foundations, and these are the steel underbearers, which are in quite a serious state of delamination. There is a coarser brick on top of those, so we now think that the best approach to this would be to bring the building down bit by bit, replace the steel beams and reconstruct it again. What is in there? Is there anything at all? Is it a folly, that part of it? It is pretty much a folly. It's in very good condition inside, but the outside is starting to come apart. It's just a single floor inside, so there are in effect two rooms. The lower room contained a generator in its later years. So quite whether the wheel worked a pump directly or whether it worked a generator and then an electric pump, we don't know, but there is no machinery remaining inside the building.
Right. So where do we go from here then? What do you think is the best policy now, besides government owning it, this thing of getting the volunteers to it?
Commissioners, I think, are being a bit disingenuous. They're talking figures for...
Is the 1.9 to buy the Groudle Village cottages?
No. They're talking, as I understand it, from listening to things early today, 200,000 to deal with this building.
Just for that, yes. That's if they get professionals in.
Yeah,
but
that's where...
Let's talk about millions just to buy the whole thing or something.
Yeah, but let's concentrate on this. This is what we're here to talk about. Pete's talking about 1/10 of that. So... those sort of figures, it becomes viable, and it's just a question of who's going to do it.
And if nothing's done, we'll come back here one day and it's gone, right?
It's inevitable that this building is going to collapse. It will, and that will be a great loss, to this glen. It can be saved. I think it's a situation of damned if you do, damned if you don't. So I think with the the right approach to it, and we have come up with quite a tangible approach and solution to this, and we believe that the structure and the water wheel can be saved.